Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias.
Well, this was going to be my third video on my favorite knives from 2024. What I was doing is I was going through various types of knives, and I was breaking it down to 5 favorites in that particular category. And originally I had planned on just doing 2 categories, one being fixed blades and one being pocket knives. And then out of that, what I was going to do is from the 10 knives that I got from the fixed blades and the pocket knives, I was going to then break it down and grab the top 2 or 3 knives overall. And when I started looking at pocket knives, it's like, wow, I have got a whole lot of toothpicks, and it would be easy for me to just grab 5 favorite toothpicks. And that led me to think, well, why don't I just go ahead and do 3 videos, pocket knives other than toothpicks, and then the fixed blades. And that's what I did. I did one on fixed blades. I believe that one might have already aired. I'm not sure what the order is going to be on these. What I plan on doing is putting this video up on Christmas Eve. And it's because of the Christmas season that I have changed my idea of what this video is going to be about, and my whole aspect of this open tag, which was my 5 favorite knives. Now, like I mentioned, I already did one on fixed blades. If you notice here, these are a lot of different pocket knives, but one thing that's missing is my toothpicks. I've got a lot of toothpick knives. Matter of fact, I picked up at least as many toothpicks in 2024 as the knives that you're seeing in front of you right here. That's how many toothpicks I had, and that's why I ended up doing a video just on my 5 favorite toothpicks. And I had a difficult time just trying to choose 5 out of that. And to be honest with you, by now, if I were to look back, I'd probably change that. As after I finished doing the video, I looked in and go, well, man, I should have grabbed that one instead of the one I chose. I'm not going to tell you which one or anything, but anyway, that was one of the things I was looking at, and it's like, and then when I sat down to do this video, I'm like, well, how can I choose, considering they're all so different, and they all have different qualities and everything? How can I actually pick my 5 favorite out of this? Because it's such a variety of knives, and the old thought that came to mind was I'm sure some people have heard it before, that phrase, first world problem. You know, you've got a first world problem. You are so lucky that you have all of these knives, and you're sitting here trying to pick and choose when you should just be fortunate that you had the ability to get all of these knives. And that really kind of hit hard on me because of the time of the season right now. I mean, it's Christmas season. I'm sitting here going, well, this is a great knife. This is a great knife. And it's like, you're lucky to have any knife. And considering everything that happened in 2024, I'm just, in many ways, I'm just lucky to actually be here and able to do this video. And so really what I should be happy for is just the fact that I am here. I do have these knives that I can show you, but more importantly, I have someone to show these knives to, and that is you guys out there, that you have been so supportive of me in the last year that it's almost like me looking at these knives, trying to choose a favorite. I've started feeling like, man, am I taking people for granted? Because I would not be sitting here doing this video if it wasn't for you guys out there. I know it sounds crazy, but you actually are a driving force. You actually give me a purpose in life, the fact that I have people who are actually interested in watching this video. And that's what I really need to be grateful for. Not that I can pick a favorite out of this. The fact that you guys are out there and you're actually watching this video. But with that said, what I do want to do is at least grab a few of these knives, and it's going to be one of those things of what's that old Julie Andrews song of these are a few of my favorite things. I think I'm going to do that instead. These are some of them, some of my favorite knives for the year. And I hope that me showing you these knives brings you some kind of joy as well. But really, I'm just grateful that you guys are out there and that you have tuned into the channel and you have watched these videos and you have provided feedback and everything else. You've really made my year by doing this, by supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it. With that said, let me show you a couple knives and tell you why they're on the table right now. And I think what I'm going to start with is this one right here. This was a knife I picked up when I was down at Smoky Mountain Knife Works. I wanted to pick up a Rough Rider Reserve knife, and this is the one I picked up. This is the, what do they call it? They called this the Hawkeye. And I'm not a big fan of hawk-bill knives, but this one, when I got it, I really liked it. I liked the forward choil on there, the way it fit the hand. I actually have carried this one a little bit. I still carry it once in a while. Got a nice D2 steel blade on there, and really just a cool little knife. And I like the forward choil because then you got a lot more handle, and when you close it up, it's a nice little small hawkbill. So this was just I really thought this is a really cool design, and I really liked it. A lot of other people seem to have liked it too, because quite a few people have been buying this one and saying wonderful things about it. It was actually the fact that I saw it on so many other channels that I finally decided to go ahead and pick it up, because I really rarely pick up a hawkbill. I'm just not too crazy about them. But this one I liked. So it was like an exception to the rule. This was also a knife. I think this actually goes back to 2023. It came out right at the end of 2023. And this is also a big Rough Rider. I've got them both. This is based off of an old pattern that Camillus had made actually for the British Army. That's why you got the screwdriver down there. It's a non-locking marlin spike knife, and this knife originally came out, I think in 1905, this pattern first started showing up. I believe it was 1905, but in any case, it was used throughout World War I, and then also into World War II. And Camillus started making them for the British Army, or possibly the Canadians, I don't know. But they were being made in World War I and World War II by Camillus. And this is a pattern brought back to life by Rough Rider. So that was pretty cool. I always like a knife that has a lot of history behind it, even if it's a knife by Rough Rider that was just recently produced. The pattern itself had quite a bit of history behind it. So that was a really cool knife. Like I said, though, I believe that dates back to, I think I picked it up at the very end of 2023. So might be a little more than a year old, not necessarily 2024. Another knife, I don't think I really talked much about this one, but this was one I just recently picked up. This is a knife made by Marbles a long time ago. It was in the Workman series, and it's got G10 handles on there. And as you can tell, it's got this little ball peen hammer sticking out the back. And I bought it because, well, it was the only one in the Workman series I did not have yet. If I could ever find this one in the orange G10, I would grab it too. But it's got a functioning little hammer, which is good for little tacks and stuff like that. And I keep it here on the workbench right now. So it will eventually have a couple marks on here when I start pounding down tacks with it and stuff like that. But I just saw it. It finally came back around. I found it on eBay, and I had to grab it. You got a spear blade there. You can see it has a trapper frame, Spearmaster blade though. And then the secondary blade here is a screwdriver tip, and you've got a wire stripper and also a bottle opener there. So that's pretty cool. And I was actually, when I saw this one, I wasn't necessarily looking for this knife. What I was looking for were knives that had a secondary blade that had a cap lifter on it. I was actually looking for knives with cap lifters on it. This one showed up as like, wow, great, finally I can get that knife. I've been wanting one forever. And so I snatched it up right away. Let's grab this one real quick. This is a 4th generation Baron Son carbon knife, or carbon 4th generation Baron Son folding hunter. And this was gifted to me. And this was I believe it was a Bucky's exclusive. And it's like, wow, somebody actually gave this to me. And talk about a wonderful gift. And I had quite a few wonderful gifts this year, to be honest with you. Quite a few people gave me quite a few knives. And not only did that help out the channel, but it also, there's nothing quite like a gift to lift the spirits. This is a knife I would have probably never bought. I don't know, I can't say never, because I did buy another knife very similar to this right here. It's the Marbles folding hunter, which is almost identical to this, but I probably wouldn't have bought the Baron Son. But 1095 carbon steel blades, and this knife is really spot on. It was just a beautiful gift. How can I not show that? Probably my favorite gift this year, but I don't want to say that too loud, because there are quite a few other people who gave me knives this year that were just as cool as this. There is even a certain Victorinox German Army knife that I got that was really cool, and it is very special to me as well, but it's not on the table. Now this knife, this really spurred a lot of interest on the channel, and it also spurred a lot of interest in me. This is I think they call it the Little Pill Buster. Is a Parker knife. Parker Cutlery made this, the Little Pill Buster, and wonderful pearl handles there. And you notice the brass plate on the bottom there. It's a solid plate that is pinned in place there, like the old-fashioned way of making a doctor's knife from a long time ago. And this was a knife that I bought and got me more interested in more knives for, more doctor's knives or physician knives. And also that led me into the world of pharmacy knives, because these were also knives used by pharmacists, especially the ones that have a spatula blade. And that led me to picking up this advertising knife, which has the proper kind of spatula blade on these, on a pharmacist knife or a physician knife at the time. This has a little blade here. You notice it's like an equal end knife. But you got the little blade there, a little spear blade, or a little pin blade really. And then on the other side here you have a spatula. But this is the way the spatulas were originally made on the old physician knives. Notice how flexible it is. It's used for all sorts of things, mainly for scooping up powder and stuff like that. But gets really thin and flexible. And that's the way the original spatulas were on physician knives. So that was pretty cool. And this is pretty cool. This is probably one of my favorite advertising knives now. This old physician knife, not to mention the fact that it's an equal end knife. Bought two of them actually. But the other knife that, another physician knife that I picked up was the Fat Bottom Doctor knife by Rough Rider. It's in the Rough Rider Reserve line. And I was really surprised to see just how close that was to the old Parker knife. It's not exactly the same, but it's very close to it. And I really like this one. This was a knife that I was waiting for quite some time, and it definitely did not disappoint. And that is something that I noticed. Sometimes the anticipation of the knife ends up being more than the end result. I've been very fortunate this year. There's very few knives that I was really waiting for a long time that ended up disappointing me when I finally got them. This one did not disappoint. A couple of the toothpicks I picked up, matter of fact, none of the toothpicks I picked up this year were disappointing to me. So that was pretty cool too. A couple case knives that I picked up. I mean, besides the toothpicks, I picked up a lot of toothpicks. You're going to see that in a little while. But I picked this one up, and this was a muskrat, a tiger eye muskrat. And this is the very first muskrat, I mean true muskrat, that I picked up from Case. Now, I've had other knives built on the, I believe this is the number 46 frame. I don't know for certain. Don't quote me on that. But I believe that's what it is. But this is the muskrat, and at that point, it no longer has a pattern number on it. But this is, as you can see here, it says Tiger Eye Premium Edition, one of only 2,500. And you've got the Tiger Eye acrylic here. So this is a knife that was made by Michael Prater. And you can see there, USA Muskrat, stainless steel. And I saw that, and there's the Tiger Eye acrylic that they're using. Not the best of Tiger Eye, but it was pretty cool to me, and I really liked it. Another thing I recently picked up was this one here. This is the very first bone-handled sodbuster I picked up from Rough Rider. I did a video on that, so another first for me this year, a bone-handled sodbuster junior. Bone handles and me on a sodbuster just never clicked. But I saw a video where they were talking about this specific knife, and this, I believe this is the Caribbean jig bone. Well, Caribbean blue, I think it's a Crandall jig. I'm not sure about that. But I saw it on another channel. They did the video on it, and it's like, wow, I'm going to go ahead and grab that one. I had been looking to get the Sea Dragon, wasn't fortunate enough to get that, so I ended up grabbing this one, and changed my mind a little bit about the bone handles on the sodbusters because of this knife. But really, well, got three other ones here. This one here, this is a Tony Bose in the black Kieranite. I think it's black pearl Kieranite. And you've got the white spark shield going on there. That was a pretty cool knife. And I picked this one up at the Dog Patch Trading Post in Kentucky. Right there. That was pretty cool. And first time I've ever been to Dog Patch. And the reason I stopped there is because they sell case knives. They didn't have as many as I had hoped for there, but they had this one, which was pretty cool. And they also had this one. I was going to talk about this one along with this knife, so I'll get back to this one in a little bit right here. But the other case knife that I had that was really cool was this one. And this is probably my favorite case knife that was not a toothpick this year. And I found out a few more things about this knife. This is back in the days when Parker owned Case. And these knives were not actually made in the United States, which explains why, if you look at the tank stamp here, you'll see there it says Standard Knife Company, and then I believe it said, I can't remember if it was Tuna Valley or something else down there. I don't remember the valley name right now. I should have taken some notes, I guess, but I didn't. But if you notice on the back side here, it does not say USA. No USA here either. And the other pin blade on the back side here, no USA. Just like the bowling pin shape of the handle there. These knives are actually made in Solingen, Germany. They were contracted through Case and made in Solingen, Germany. Don't know which company made them, but they were actually made in Solingen, Germany. So once again, some knives from Case that were not necessarily made in the United States. The only way you would know that this was made in Solingen, Germany is if you had the original box. But also, you'd want to kind of question a little bit about it because it did not say USA anywhere on the make of it. Still, it's one of my favorite Case knives. The fact that it wasn't made in the United States doesn't bother me one iota. So that's a pretty cool knife there. While I'm at it, let's go into these two Barlows back here now. Okay, of these two knives, one is by Queen USA, and the other one is obviously by Case. The bottom one here is 6.5 bone stag by Case. This is the Smoky Mountain Knife Works Queen-made knives, Queen-made USA knives. A lot of people will say that these were made by Baron Son. What I will say is Baron Son obviously had something to do with the production of these knives, but my sources at Smoky Mountain Knife Works says that SMKW is contracting with 4 or 5 different knife companies to produce the Queen USA knives. So what does that mean? I don't know. What we can say is this frame is very distinctive to Baron Son, the shape of it and everything else. And what we have here is Case 6.5 bone stag versus genuine India stag on the Queen. Both of these knives suffer from one serious flaw as far as I'm concerned, and that was the fact that they bothered to put a shield into the bone, or into the stag or the bone stag. I would have much rather seen Case engraved up here and the Queen logo up on the bolster. One of them is a single blade, the other one's 2 blade. Both of these knives are just gorgeous knives though. And look at how well that matches. Yeah, they really did a good job. Both companies did a great job on these knives. This is in 1095 carbon steel. This is in the Case True Sharp stainless steel. And we see the blades here. Yeah, nice little pen blade there. And then we have the clip blade here. And we see there the Queen Cutlery Company, number 22. 1095 carbon steel, and then Queen USA right there. Really gorgeous knife. And the 6.5 bone stag, beautiful clip blade. Really good action on this knife too. And this is another one I picked up at Dog Patch USA. And also have the other Queen over here. This is the stag handled stockman, also by Queen USA SMKW. And we can see here on the pattern number, it's the number 9. You see yeah, you can see it right there. There is definitely some blade rub going on somewhere down there. So that would be something that a lot of people would complain about. I'm okay with it, but I can understand why people would complain about that. Let's see, where else am I at here? Okay, these are 2 knives that I've been looking at getting for some time now. These are both knives by Camillus. I really was lucky enough to grab both of these in the same year. These are knives I've been looking for quite some time. This one dates from back around 1932, and this one's from more or less around 2003 or so, maybe as early as 1999 or so. But these are, this is a George Washington tribute knife, and this is also a tribute knife to George Washington. This was for his, it was commemorating his 200th birthday, and this is to commemorate the anniversary of his death. And this is based off of, this one is a much more accurate copy of George Washington's actual penknife that was given to him by his mother. Just a really cool little knife. It doesn't mean a lot to everybody, but it meant quite a bit to me. And as a person who collects knives from the old Camillus, the company that went bankrupt in 2007, it was really nice to finally get both of these knives. It was something that was on my radar for some time, but I finally decided to, put a little extra effort into it, and I managed to get them both. This is the one that is an acrylic pearl. I think they call it pearl light. They also make one in pearl. And if I can ever grab one in pearl, I would probably end up grabbing it. Moving on to something that really surprised me a lot, and I really was not expecting this knife to be as cool as it is. And that is this one here. This is the Black Cat, the Mercator of Germany Black Cat knife. This is one that was made by Kaufmann. So it dates from probably sometime in the 60s or 70s, somewhere around there. The handle was probably blackened at one time, but now it is just all stainless steel. Really good shape now. When I first got it, the blade had some horrible wobble in it, but I managed to tap it down a little bit and get it fixed up a bit. Get really good action on that. And I did a history on this knife a little bit, but someone did correct me on one thing in that history. When I mentioned that Kaufmann here, Mercator, it means shopkeeper or a merchant or something like that. Someone pointed out that actually Kaufmann's name, when you translate it into Latin, it comes out to Mercator also. It's interesting because what I was doing is I was translating the Latin to the German. I knew Mercator was a Latin word, so I translated it from Latin, Mercator, to German, and it came out to shopkeeper or a salesperson, something like that, or a merchant. Well, if you take Kaufmann's name and you translate it into English, it translates Kaufmann to handler, somebody who handles something. But if you take Kaufmann and you translate it into Latin, it comes out to Mercator. So it's one of those things where Mercator can mean so many different things. And what the person has mentioned was that Kaufmann translated his name to Mercator, or into the Latin version of Mercator, and he applied that to his economy line of knives. And that's how these knives came about. So that, a little bit more information on this knife that is just really cool for me to learn about. And I got this knife and I was just fascinated by it. And that's why it's on the table here. It's a very recent knife in my collection, but that is one of the reasons why it's right now among my favorites and why it's on the table here. Another knife that kind of surprised me in 2024 is this one here. This is known as a vendetta knife, a knife that was very popular in Corsica. They started making them for the sales trade probably in the 1950s, 1960s, things like that. So they ended up being something that were almost like souvenir knives if you went to Corsica. But in any case, I saw this on a late night bid on eBay and got it for a very low price. And the reason I bought it is because of the really cool ceramic handles on here. And I bought it, I got it, and I really liked it. And made me look into more information about this knife. And after looking into it and everything else, I really got fascinated by these knives. And talked about it in a video. A lot of people also chimed in, gave me more information about the knife, which I'm very grateful for. But also a lot of other people just saw this knife and they were fascinated by it as well. Didn't know much about them either. So that touched me also, that I was able to help a few people learn a little bit more about a very fascinating knife. And I don't know, it gave me a lot of pleasure just out of this knife, and the fact that I think I was paid like somewhere around $7 for it or something like that. Maybe it might have been as high as 11. I don't know. Can't remember. But the price I paid for it was well worth all the joy that I got out of this little knife. And that is one of the things that really makes me want to collect knives. The fact that I can get so much joy out of a simple knife like this, an inexpensive knife like this on top of that, because I just love to learn a little bit more about knives, and I like to share what I learn about knives with all of you guys out there. And hopefully that brings a little joy into your life as well. I know one thing for a fact, it brings a lot of happiness to me that I can share this information with you guys. And on the back here, there are 3 knives from Victorinox. This one was the first ever contest that Smoky Mountain Knife Works did for a Halloween knife. And I did a video on this one, a little bit of a video, where they were talking about the winner. And I showed my submission to it. And my submission was somewhat similar to this, but not nearly as well executed as this. But it did have a cat sitting on a pumpkin, which when I saw that this was the winner, I was like, well, at least I had the right concept, even if I didn't win. So congratulations to Andrea Bernard once again for winning this contest. I've got one of your 300 knives that were made. It's a pretty cool knife. It is a tinker, but I'm not going to change it out. Then this one, I talked a little bit about this one. This is probably my favorite 58 millimeter that I picked up this year. It is a Bigfoot knife. Got a soft spot for the big old hairy guy, but on the back side, I just liked what it said on the back. I know it's kind of cheesy and everything, but I do like it. Not all who wander are lost. And that really does sum my life up in many ways, because I do tend to wander all over the place, but eventually I get to where I want to be. And I'm going to close with this knife, I think. This is a really cool, this is actually a Huntsman, but it's was put out by the Swiss Knife Shop, and it features their bear, their camping bear. And I just really like this, and the walnut handles. This is the third walnut handled knife that I picked up by them. And I just like the whole outdoor scene, the camping and everything else. And it this is something that brings me back quite a bit. And well, if you follow the channel, well, you know all about the bears and everything. So I thought I'd show this one as well. This is probably if not my favorite Victorinox knife of the year, very close to my favorite Victorinox knife of the year. So at least I can choose one favorite out of all of these, and that would be this one. And it's basically because of the bear. But with that said, you know, who knows, maybe this is my favorite. But anyway, with that said, don't get eaten by a bear. And I'm going to take this opportunity also to wish you all a Merry Christmas in whatever way you happen to celebrate it. Happy holidays, and may you find peace, prosperity, and good health in the upcoming year. With that said, this is the one that is going to be released the day before Christmas, so on Christmas Eve. A third one is going to come out on Boxing Day, December 26th. So at this point, I'm just going to let you go, and I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found a little bit of joy in this. I do want to express once again, though, that the fact that you have supported my channel so much this last year has brought me quite a bit of joy and also a lot of comfort. And I really do appreciate that. Thank you very much.
let me take just a second to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with Tobias. I really do appreciate it, and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.